Ron?
How you want to do?
Thank you so much.
Mayor of Tuxedo Park.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is David McFadden, the Mayor of Tuxedo Park. This is the regular meeting, April 19th, 2023. It is 7:02. The meeting is called to order. Let's rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, invisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll call the roll. Trustee Casker.
Here.
Trustee Brooke.
Here.
Mayor McFadden, present. Trustee Shaw. Not present. Trustee Scher.
Trustee Shaw is
Present. She's what?
She's online.
She's online.
Oh, God, 3.
Okay, Trustee Shaw, present. All right, so the election is coming up in June, and I just wanted to briefly announce that Trustee Brooke, Trustee Scher, and myself will be rerunning, and we ask for your support. And it's been a pleasure this last 2 years, and we look forward to another 2 years. And we hope we'll have your support. Thank you.
Is there any opposition?
I'm not aware of any, Jim. I wouldn't be surprised.
The opposition has to file by the 9th of next month. So
Right.
we'll
So if you're
know
thinking
that.
of running,
So make-
we'd always welcome you.
We also have a petition that has to be filled in. So if anybody wants to sign at the end of the meeting, they can feel free to.
All right, so resolve to open the public hearing on the preliminary budget for the fiscal year June 1, 2023 to May 31st, 2024. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So I have asked permission from Tinka that Paul would be able to say all the seconds today. So
Oh.
she's online. So Paul will be saying the
I will
seconds.
defer to you.
Hi, Tinka.
Now you got it.
All right. Now, board, any comments for Tinka or Elizabeth on the proposed budget?
Just the only question I had for Tinker Elizabeth is if the required engineering projects that Joe's uncle had presented to us in an email last week are included in the budget. I think it was about $270,000.
All right, Tinka, you need to turn on your mic. Oops. Can't hear you because your microphone's off. There you go. Now your volume must be down or off.
Our volume's not down, is it, John?
No, because we heard Bob before.
This wouldn't happen at IBM. They have an IT&T department.
There
Is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. No, I have not done that. I haven't had a chance to sit down with John and review that and the mayor. And so I do not have that. The only engineering that I have down is the I&I that is required under the sewer budget.
That's your question.
Okay.
So his question was only the required DEC stuff is in. The other is for us to determine.
Right, right. Well, there's a whole list of things on that from Joe Zongel.
Mhm.
Some that are recommended and some that aren't, but the big one is going to be the wall up on Summit Road.
Mhm. Did we include that?
I believe it's included.
Okay.
So,
If not, we'll
but
make
no,
sure.
I didn't include it. I thought you meant if it was included on his list, but I did
Right.
not put anything in for that yet.
What was
for
the
engineering.
amount? Do you remember?
Oh, I think just the engineering fees were like 50,000, weren't they, John?
I don't remember, but we did get 3 estimates. We just have to look at them and we'll publish
We're
them.
talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So we're likely going to
Right.
bond that.
we're likely, yes,
It would
or
be considered a long-term improvement, so it's better we fund it.
short-term loan, we'll determine the best instrument
Okay.
with the advice of our bond counsel and accountant and attorneys. But does that answer your question?
I just want to be clear. So I'm pulling it up. So think on his spreadsheet that he sent us, it was basically all projects total $2.9 million. And then under that total, he said he gave us a required by regulatory agencies only, and that was 270,000. And I know that's going to be split between water and general fund. And that's just want to make sure that we don't have to go back and adjust the budget when we have this information now. And I know it just came in, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely put that in.
Okay, all right. So we're
Thanks.
still working on it. Got it.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Paul,
It's posted online.
Oh, okay.
do you have any questions about the budget?
No, looks like we ran things enormously well. Revenues came in a little bit above forecast. Spending came in a little bit below forecast. So
Yes, I'm
we're in
very
good
excited
shape.
about another opportunity to keep taxes low.
So pretty good.
John or Elizabeth, do you have any comments you'd like to make about the budget?
No.
Folks in the audience, yes, please, state your name.
Audrey Perry.
Audrey Perry.
I want to know about the sewer charges. I did talk to Chris about it, but we, of course, don't use the sewer at all. We only have a well and a septic. So are we going to, we have been charged in the budget, which is not really something we should have been charged for, didn't know about it until 2 years ago. Now, what about the new budget?
Okay, so,
I mean, there are a lot of us.
right, so one of the things that we took very seriously was the fact that forever, administration after administration, people that did not use the sewer were charged.
Right.
And that was an approximate $350 charge added to your property tax. So when we made the sewer department, one of the things that we were glad it would accomplish was fair and equitable distribution of the cost. So you are no longer ever eligible to pay for sewer. And so that has been removed from your tax responsibilities. And that's a permanent change.
There's no way we would ever get a sewer.
If your sewer broke down and you were able to tax the village, then you would.
There's no way you're.
I don't even think you're near the sewer, right? There's no sewer line.
There's nobody down.
Right, right. So you're one of the people on the end of the teeter-totter that really benefited.
So good, thank you.
Total success.
A total success for you.
So, and just to point this out on the budget, if you go to the third page, do you have it? If you can see, it says page 3 of 6. You can see where the first two columns have numbers on them, basically. And then the last two columns, they're all blank and it's all under sewer. It's line 8130.10A, 0.20A. And that's where before the sewer funds were coming out of the taxes, the general fund. And now the last year and the years going forward, there's none. So this shows how it's out of the general fund. And then what you're looking at on the back end is is solely the sewer fund that you're not paying into.
I know that in other meetings it was brought up, but it didn't seem clear. And now it's.
We apologize for that. But in fact, 100% correct as Chris described. Well, any other questions from the folks here in the meeting hall? Sir, Jim Hayes.
Yes, I just had a question on the lake management and watershed study. I see that adopted in 21-22 was $80,000 spent, was 29, roughly $30,000.
What,
Adopted in the following year was
1989.
$90,000, which is now already been spent. You spent all that?
I don't have the answer to that. Tinka?
Couldn't hear the,
Have we spent all of our lakes management budget? And if so, it would probably be the milfoil treatments.
yes, we did spend 17, well, almost all of the ones from the general fund, and then we spent a little over that from the water fund for the milfoil treatment.
Now, the good news, Jim, is that we will put additional money in for lake management. We were just waiting to hear from the contract, the new firm.
No, I don't know. What is the new firm?
Where our the original gentleman that was working for us, what was his name again? He worked for Near.
AJ, yeah.
All right, so I got a call from Near, and they will no longer be servicing our account
Right,
because they can't find a replacement
right,
for him.
Right.
So they actually referred us to his new firm.
right.
And so we're in contact and we're going to be getting an agreement.
Okay.
And we'll
So-
plug it
so
in.
AJ will continue to be. the
Correct.
manager.
So it's kind of works for us.
Okay.
Now, one good thing about the milfoil, they wanted to charge us the entire 150 grand in upfront. And I was able to get a deal with them where they would only charge us each year. So otherwise that number would be significantly higher.
So they are going to, somebody is going to assay the recovery of the milfoil in the lake? Somebody's going to do.
Yes, that's all part of it. That's Solitude and AJ theoretically. And that will make the determination to where we put the milfoil this year. Maybe the price will be adjusted. I'm not sure. But so far it's looking very good.
Yeah, well, it's very early.
Yes, very early.
Yeah. Okay, so AJ, you're hoping to hire AJ.
I'm hoping to hire AJ's
You're not
firm.
Going without a lake manager.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yep. So take we need a plug number. Well, let's put
I'm
in,
sorry?
let's put in a $35,000 plug number for lake management.
Well, we have 20. You want to?
Oh, you put 20 in already. Oh,
We
we
have
have
20.
We have 20 in for a preliminary budget, but it's not part of the adopted budget.
Right.
So we
Okay.
have to
So
turn it
Jim,
over.
did you notice that? We already had 20?
No, I didn't.
20 for
Okay.
the, we had
We
20.
did put 20 in,
All the
Jim.
way on the right, right? You can see that the budget was 30. We spent 27. We have nothing adopted. Year to date is 17. And we budgeted 20.
In the general fund.
And that was determining the whereabouts of the stormwater sewers.
Right.
And that money was not spent.
Correct.
You had it in last year's budget.
We'll roll it over.
So it's gonna be in this year's budget.
Yes.
Is that part of this 90?
Tinka, is the rolling over of the storm drain project in the 90, or do we have to add it as a placeholder?
To be totally honest, I thought, didn't we have a separate item for that?
Did we have a separate item? And did it get carried over, do you know?
I know let me take.
What was
a
it,
look.
25 or 28 grand?
It was 20, I think, but I'm not sure.
No, that was separate, the storm drain thing. That was 22,000, I think we had budgeted for it.
Okay. Do you know if we carried it over into this year's budget?
I'm pretty sure I did, yes, because Jeff is going around now and locating whatever, helping out locate.
Is that correct, Jeff? You're on it? You're on the project now?
We've been doing sewer work lately.
Okay.
We've got a,
But it's something on your plate.
yeah,
Oh, good. All right. Well, we'll double check. Hopefully I can find out before the end of the meeting. Because when we do the vote on this budget, I'd like to know that we have to put, I could include that as one of our steps.
Because that was for the engineer. That money was for the engineer.
Yeah,
Although DPW is gonna have to do most of the work.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And that was an estimate, the engineer. All right. Anything else, Jim?
No.
Okay. I'm going to turn now to folks attending the meeting by Zoom. Is there anyone that has any questions about the proposed budget? Okay. What I'm going to recommend is, question?
No.
Okay. What I'm going to recommend is that we approve the budget. And understanding that we have one outstanding item, if Tinker can find it, great, which would be a placeholder. Let's add that 28,000 back into the budget for the project that Jim was referring to, stormwater.
Yep.
And if,
Identifying the stormwater.
so overall in the budget, it doesn't seem to me like we have to have another public hearing just to approve the $28,000 number.
Mayor, if I may,
Sure.
You would make a resolution to make that change now, and then what you want to do is close the public hearing. Any other changes can be made after the close of the public hearing, but that would require an additional meeting. So I understand the board is meeting on the 28th. So any changes you want to make now, you would make by resolution. You would close the public hearing. Any additional changes that may arise, those changes can be made between now and the 28th. And if the board feels comfortable, it can set this down for adoption.
Even if they're not substantive?
Right.
Well, but if you basically approve it within 2% for adjustments as we finalize the numbers, that's acceptable because we're giving a 2% band. We don't have to call, if we basically have snow removal that we're basically went way below budget this year because you didn't have much snow, we want to adjust that number up. It's within the 2% band that we're approving it within a 2% band.
Right. Well, procedurally, I'm just saying if you guys are going to close the public hearing tonight, you'd want to make these changes now by resolution. You would close the public hearing and then set to adopt on the 28th, if that's what the board wants to do.
Okay, so Tinka, we don't have to do a resolution if you can find that we already carried over that number for the storm drainage.
I am looking for it. I think it's called GIS or something like that, wasn't it?
John, do you recall what we had it under?
Yes, I think there was a category,
And
GIS. I'm looking.
why don't you also check to see if we carried it over?
I'm looking to see if I.
Would that be in the water budget?
I
No.
think I don't know. I think it may have been there,
Oh,
but I don't remember. I'm not seeing it now. But we have two items, right, that we're discussing here, the engineering, the
All right, I
stormwater.
found it.
And
5020.40A. On page 3. Stormwater GIS engineering, $22,000 proposed for this year.
I got the number right, 22,000.
50/20.
okay. So we're good on
then
that?
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah, right
carry
there.
that over, but then we.
It
have
is
the
carried
other-
over.
50/20, out of order.
It is carried over.
I see.
Yep.
Yep, we see it now.
Yeah, but the one change is to add in the required engineering that Chris pointed out, the 270. That's going to be split between water and general. So that's one item that we will be
Oh,
adding.
that we should pass a resolution on.
Yeah.
Okay, would you please cite the resolution and then I'll call the roll.
Who, me?
You're the deputy mayor. It's about time you shine.
No, I'll
No?
let you do it.
What,
What, all right, give me the background and the numbers.
So we got from the
Joe.
engineers a list of proposed projects that.
And some are DC related, required, in other words.
Right.
And what is that
so
total amount?
270,
And we're gonna split it.
right.
And how is it gonna be split?
That's a motion. That's a motion is what I'm hearing, right?
We're not yet.
we're
Not yet.
still-
I'm gonna try it, Robert. All right,
All right.
so how are we gonna split it, Tinka?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I know that maybe Elizabeth, you remember when we did the bonds that was split between water and the general.
25% for water and 75% for general, just very general.
Because I know.
Well, what are the projects?
yeah, that's what I'm going through right now.
Let's just go through the
So
projects.
John or Jeff,
Mhm.
this asbestos pipe handling variance renewal, $2,500.
Water pipe?
Is that water?
Yes.
Okay.
Water.
Yes,
How much?
Says 2,500.
it is.
Okay.
And then next one that's required is the flow management plan.
And what is it, the definition?
Hold on, I just lost
That
it.
looks like, almost like general, but I don't want to jump the pan.
I don't think so.
SSES, continuation per flow management plan. Is that sewer? Yep. So
I
that's
think it's
sewer,
sewer.
Sewer.
and that's $30,000.
Okay.
And then SSES investigation of subbasins
Mhm.
required is $175,000.
Water.
Uh,
No,
How
no,
much?
no, that's sewer.
sewer. yeah,
Thank you.
175.
And
175. Sorry.
You good, Tinka? With that?
yeah, the 175 we already put into the sewer budget.
Okay.
So
And then the next yes required is the WTP Clearwell upgrades, 59,900.
59,500,
900.
59,900 water.
Oh, no, that's water.
Mhm.
Dam certification.
Dam certification,
And $3,000.
where,
3,000.
where do you want to put it?
Um,
Water,
I have that, I believe, underwater. No,
It's already in, okay,
yeah, that one is in.
it's already in. What else?
That's it.
So this does not
That's
total
required.
270.
So I got a procedural question. We're approving the budget, and we're approving the totals, or we're approving all the lines? Because we can adjust the lines without changing the total budget, right?
That's correct. And that's just
Okay,
for the
so-
tentative budget.
The approval is for the full budget. We're gonna approve that tonight. And if we have to adjust lines in between, we can do it. And if we need to raise it in the subsequent meeting, we can raise it in a
Right.
subsequent meeting. But
Well, good point.
we're only approving the total number, which means we have flexibility to move numbers around. as we-
Right, so this 270, we didn't achieve the 270 number.
Actually, maybe I did it wrong, but I got, no, I must have done it wrong. I got 300,000 already. Mac, what do you got? You got 25?
I have what we discussed, we're at 60, we're at like 90 grand out of the supposed 270.
I
give us the
I
170.
got it at 270.
Yeah, 175 is in there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
I thought we
So-
took the 175 out because it was already in the system.
Well,
Oh,
so I think what we do.
You had
is
already
we-
listed the 175 in this current budget.
It's already in the 175.
Right, so that's why I crossed it
Okay.
out.
So what we
Okay,
need
so that
to do-
explains it.
So we have, we're approving the budget as proposed.
Right,
But wait, no, not really, because I have not added the rest of the engineering things. It only includes 175, so we need to add the difference.
which was like
between-
95, and it wasn't, a lot of it was water, or it was either water or sewer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're increasing the total by 95, and that's the number we're approving.
is
Well,
that
wait,
correct?
wait a second.
No,
Yep,
those are different
we'll
funds.
wait, go ahead.
Yeah,
no rush.
so John, the Clearwell project, that's for the water plant, right?
correct.
And then sometimes we split between general and water, but would that be 100% water? The 59.5?
It is strictly the water treatment plant. So it would
Okay.
just come out of water.
All right, so everything else is not part of the general budget then. It's
Water.
water or sewer. Okay, so
Mhm.
then I guess it is, then.
So do you have the amounts for water and sewer? So we can adjust those
Well,
now?
that would be 30 for sewer, right? And 3, 12, 62, 400 for water.
Okay.
That's not currently in the budget. Is that correct?
So it sounds like,
Wait. No, I do have the 2,500 for the asbestos in the water budget.
Oh, you do? Okay, we'll cross that out.
And we also have the 3,000 in the water budget. I'm
Okay.
pretty Sure, that, let me just double
So
check.
now we only have 59.9 that's unaccounted for in the water department.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me
And
just.
30 in the sewer.
Oh, wait, did you, Elizabeth, did you add in, I don't know that you added in the dam certification on 1989.4, did you?
I think John said he saw it.
5,500? Yeah, I don't think you added it, so you need to add 5,500 there. Those
the
are those
dam.
bills.
So that would be on the water department side.
Which code is that? Oh, in the water department. sorry.
Yeah,
500.
19.41,
Okay.
those are those bills that we're looking for.
No, it's missing.
Okay.
Right, so we have to add
14,
then, so we add the 5,500
minus
plus
15,
the
6.
other,
Okay, 65,400 for the water department, 30,000 for the sewer. Does everyone agree on that?
yes.
Do we want
I
to,
think it does.
Robert, can we just say line items to be determined?
Yes, and again, this is just for tentative. You guys can make these changes before the 1st, and you're free.
Right,
to
well, we're
adopt-
approving the budget tonight.
Okay,
Yep. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees adjust the proposed budget by adding $65,400 to the water department line items to be determined, and 30,000 to the sewer budget, line items to be determined. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to close the meeting and then approve the budget. Robert?
Wait,
You would close,
question. How did you get 400?
400.
65,400.
Oh, is that the wrong number? I added
Would be-
59.9 and 55.
Is it 59.9? I thought, or 59.5?
I had heard 59.9, but if it's 5, let me know.
It's 5, because that adds up to 270. So it's 50, so it would be.
Okay, so what's the, so we got to take
So let
is
me
it
see.
400 off? So it's
59.9
65.
59.9 is what,
So now it's 65,000, right?
Wait, I'm sorry, Chris, what did you say?
59.9 is what's in the spreadsheet for the.
59.9, so we were right.
So, but I have a little question then. How do you make that round up to 270,000? Or is it 270,000?
It's actually 270,400 is the total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Okay.
And can I just ask one question, directing this to Tinka? Because we had talked about the contingency line and how it's negative and it really shouldn't be negative. And I looked at the formula, and the reason it's negative is because that is a number that brings the appropriations in balance with the revenues. So basically what I'm saying is the revenues are either too low or the appropriations are too high. But if we take out the capital fund contribution, we would be okay. I mean, can we do that? Those two transfers at the bottom, 9901 and 9950?
Do them now.
Bob, I don't know about that.
right?
And
You know,
also-
again, these are things that can be worked out with the village's financial professionals, and it can be worked out after tonight.
Okay.
You know, our advice for procedural purposes would be to close the public hearing, and if the board is meeting again at the end of April to adopt.
For the budget.
We're not going to be meeting again because we're going to approve the budget tonight. So I want to make any contingency by resolution now so that we can then approve the budget. Is that okay with you, Bob?
That's fine, but you
Right,
know,
so why don't I approve those,
Wait, can I-
that transfer if you want?
Yeah, but can I just say another thing too? That we haven't gotten around, like, can't really wrap my head around the appropriated surplus line. Then I wanted to talk to the accountant about that.
So you feel that could change significantly?
I don't, I
Okay.
really know.
So we're
and
looking
I
at
don't
another
know.
meeting?
Yeah.
I think we're approving it and we can reopen the meeting
Yes.
if we need to. So it is approved.
so you're approving the tentative budget. and
Right.
Any changes can be made before the May 1st adoption deadline.
Okay,
Right,
all
okay.
right, we'll go with that. Thanks, Tika,
Okay.
for pointing that out.
Yeah,
All right, well, let's just do this one vote.
Can we let Mark Citrine?
Yeah, hold on.
I'm so
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to be strong.
I want to finish the roll call. All in favor? And this is regarding, splitting it.
We still have an open hearing.
Yeah,
So we
I
still
know.
have the
I'm not, I'm just voting to make, for the resolution, which I just proposed and was seconded.
Okay,
There's a motion on the table, and that's to add 65.4 to the water department and 30 to the sewer.
okay.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, now we will stop and go to anyone in the audience that has a question. Who has a question?
Your Mayor, this is Mark Citron.
Hello, Mark.
As a matter of procedure, the budget having been published for the first time this afternoon, I would request that the meeting be kept open until Friday so that as a practical matter, those persons, voters in the village, residents of the village, have sufficient time to review the proposed budget before it is finalized. Putting it on the website at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock meeting simply does not provide sufficient time to members of the public to review the proposed budget and to ensure that their voices will be heard should they have any questions for you. And I would respectfully request that you keep the public meeting open until at least Friday, which was what you indicated you would do in the missive that was.
Right, so we have a little bit of a dilemma in that the actual public hearing is required to be closed tonight by calendar, correct, Robert?
Yes, by the.
So we are going to close it, but we will take public comments. Robert, is that
Yeah,
acceptable?
look, the
Yeah,
villages.
Regardless of the hearing, we will take any public comment at any time before Friday. And during Friday's meeting.
All right, thank you.
That work for you? Okay, good
Yeah.
point, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome. All right, so any other questions? Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the tentative budget for 2023, 2024. May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye, okay, the ayes have it. All right. And let's schedule a meeting for Friday. Is anybody available? And what time? I have it scheduled for Friday. What time works for everybody?
Friday, the 28th?
Yes, sir.
Get my calendar.
Yep.
Oh, the only thing is Friday, the 28th, we have the WeWa planting of the trees. You know what time that is?
I'm not,
3 o'clock.
I'm not available during the day on the 28th.
And I'm not, yeah, okay. How about you,
So,
Tika?
That's the only thing I have is the 28th.
You're gonna
Is
be
that
at the
too
planting?
Yep.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
I'm flexible.
Same. Chris?
Yeah, I can't do Friday.
Okay. Josh, can you do Friday? Via Zoom?
This Friday?
Oh,
far? No,
next
the
Friday.
28th.
The 28th.
Oh, the 28th, excuse me.
The 28th, give me one quick second.
So you're referring to the 28th?
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
what time?
Oh, the,
Whatever,
well,
time-
that's what we're trying to determine.
whatever, we'll make it
I'm-
work for your time.
You know what? I'm gonna make it work for you guys. Just let me
Okay.
know when you want to do it.
Okay,
Does 10 in the morning work for you? Or do you want to do an evening or afternoon?
10 in the morning is fine. Get out of the way.
Okay. At 10 in the Village Hall, 10 a.m. So be it resolved, the Board of Trustees schedule a second meeting on the budget for April 28th, Friday, 2023 at 10 a.m. May I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions about the draft local law for the lakes? Anyone in the,
What is this local law? Do you want to read it?
it's posted. It's, I'll give you the crux of it. Do we have the local law?
Do we close the public hearing?
Yeah,
Do we have a copy of the local law here?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you have it, Jim?
As a matter of procedure, we need to close the public hearing for the budget.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees close the budget hearing. May I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
the lake law is actually a tricky law because the council wrote and said the village has 21 local laws that are not reflected in the general code. So the general code doesn't match up to what the local laws are. The essential resolution that we put forward that we're trying to codify is the current law does not allow docks to longer than 10 feet. And we're adjusting the length of docks to be 20 to 25.
The length of the boat plus 6 inches on each side.
Yeah, a length of the boat plus a foot. Okay. We are not adjusting the allowable length of boats. at this
We
time.
are,
We are?
yes, 21 to 25 feet,
What is it now?
21 or 20. Anybody know?
20.
20.
I think it's 20, so we're adjusting boat length to 25. We're adjusting dock length to maximum boat length.
If you have
Plus
that length of a
If
boat.
you have-
If you have a smaller boat, you can't have.
Correct.
So if you change your boat, you can change your dock.
Correct.
Actually, no, it's got, you gotta establish a rule for dock size independent of whatever your boat is, because if you change your boat, that means you gotta reconstruct your dock. So the dock can be any length up to that length, but the maximum allowable length of the boat is 25 feet plus one. Right? Right, and the. dock-
Swimming. I think that's it on the lake.
No, the other thing is, the dock law says that they have to be removable docks. And in fact, the only real place for the removable docks is the club, because they put those docks in and take them out. Most residents have permanent docks, so if it abides by the rules, which is no more than 5 feet against the shore, the new law will basically allow a dock to be permanent.
I don't believe that that's in this law.
Well, this has been a little bit confused, but I've.
Right. I don't believe that this,
We talked about it last time.
we have talked about it. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if it got into this version.
Well, but there will be revisions to the reversion. We're presenting the lake law today. And you asked for a summary of the pieces.
Mhm.
And the pieces are boat length to 25 feet, dock length to 25 feet plus a foot.
Plus a foot.
Well,
6 inches
because
on each
6
side.
inches on each side.
6 inches on each side of the bow and stern.
Correct. Safety.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all.
Safety.
I mean, I don't understand why the dock has to be the length of the boat. Why can't the boat stick out beyond the end of the dock?
Because then you miss your doors on occasion. And also
They're never at the end of the boat. The doors are in the
My-
middle of the boat.
my pontoon has 2 doors at the end, a door at the end of each boat.
Then you can put that door on the inside.
Yeah,
of the
it's
dock.
a judgment of people who've worked on this, that a 10-foot dock length is inappropriate for a 20-foot boat or a 25-foot boat. And given that inappropriate contrast, we're allowing dock length to be expanded to the length of the boat plus 6 inches on each
Why are
end.
you increasing the length of the boat allowed?
Because there's the law is fairly old and doesn't take into account all the new innovations on electric boats. And if you look at what's out there now, there are tremendous opportunities for electric boats that are over 20 feet, but some are 30. So we thought we'd try to at least cap it.
The size of the lake has not changed.
Correct.
So why is it appropriate now to have bigger boats? It's a
Well,
Small lake. I mean,
well, why was it appropriate to limit them to 20 feet?
What's wrong with it?
Because there's new technology
Because
that allows for
residents have-
other
the
options.
Residents have said, number of residents said they'd like to have larger
Yeah.
boats.
Well, of course, but that doesn't
Okay.
mean that's no reason to do it.
So,
I mean, the
Mayor-
lake is.
So it's your right, it's your right to object to.
Yes, Robert,
Thank you. Before this continues, I think the board should open the public hearing.
public
on
hearing,
this
yeah.
So that this can be part of the discussion.
Mhm.
For purposes of general code, obviously, things are going to be reconciled. That's going to make it easier for everyone to understand.
Yeah,
So
okay,
this
thank
is
you.
just a
Be it
preliminary
resolved that the Board of
discussion.
Trustees open the public hearing on draft law, continued public hearing on draft local law number 1, revising the lake laws related to dock size. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Can we put that on the record of the public hearing, what Jim just said?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
if Jim has concerns, I think he should put them in now so that they're in the record.
Okay. Do you want to repeat your main concerns?
Well, yes, I'm concerned that we have a really very small lake. This is Lake Champlain. This is a very small lake. And it's scenically very beautiful for whether you happen to have a pontoon boat or not a pontoon boat. But to put larger and larger boats on a very small lake, I think is a bad idea. people have gotten along very well with reasonably small boats. I see no reason to increase the size of the boats. The lake will become clogged and then you make it even bigger. And pontoon boats are ugly. They really are. I mean, for anybody else who's looking at them, yeah, some of the electric boats are beautiful that are on the lake, but these big, long pontoon boats are ugly. That's my view.
No, I understand. I respect that totally. I'm hoping that some of these new alternatives will be taken advantage of. They are not pontoons. These are, I don't know if anyone's seen any of the new electric boats. I'll send you some links. Yeah, I would discourage pontoon boats, actually, if I had a choice. If I don't like mine.
Look, there are huge, there are pontoon boats that are larger than 20 feet out there. that
True.
are grandfathered because those boats were on the lake before these laws got passed.
Swerble
there's a-
and Hanson.
Yeah, there's a curious history that the lake was not part of the village when the village was incorporated. The lake came in much later. So we have two issues or three issues before us, from my perspective. The first issue is increasing dock length to boat length plus 1 foot. The second is a resolution increasing allowable boat length to 25 feet from 20, right? And third, which was not part of the draft we got, is allowing docks to be permanent if they're on your property, because a permanent dock is fancier, more expensive, and more
Tax revenue.
aesthetically than, floating docks that float out. And your other question is the allowable laws don't permit the dock to go straight out into the lake. The dock has to be
Correct.
along the shore.
There's no change to the,
So there's no
Extension.
change to the extension
so
issue.
you can't have a 21-foot, 25-foot dock going perpendicular to the shore. Correct.
Correct.
This, if they're not removable, then they're permanent. They're going to be masonry. They're going to be made out of
They can
cement
be
or
wood.
stone.
You look at most all the docks on the lake are wood.
And they're all subject to the bar.
And they're also, any you build it is subject to the bar, but they're wood.
But they take them out because the ice will take them out.
No, no, that's
Not
not
if they're,
true.
not if they have
No.
certain types of foundation.
If you have a foundation, you don't have, the answer is the only really removable docks are the club's docks, and that was put in by a law that permitted many boats to be put in together, right? For
And
individuals.
the village club. Yeah, Village Boat Club. Thank you, Jeff.
Right,
That means the club will not be able to have permanent docks. Is that true?
Yes.
correct.
And they're also under the regulation from years ago where they can't get any additional docks unless the trustees approve it.
But then these permanent docks, it's a little hard for me to understand how you can have a wooden dock when this lake freezes over and you don't remove it. The ice will remove it for you.
Mhm.
I mean, the ice does move around. I mean, maybe not every year.
I would refer you to,
Boathouses are there.
yeah, I would refer you to,
They're not wooden, they don't have wooden foundations.
They have,
concrete.
Concrete,
Yeah, you have,
Highland.
Sani, you have, next to Swerble, the boathouse there, which is concrete shore. Those would be examples to look
Yes,
at.
concrete,
Yes.
that's my point.
Yes,
My point is that you are making a big modification to the shoreline if you install concrete piers into the lake. And this is what you're proposing to do.
not in this, this is something that will come at a later date to be discussed under a different local law. It's not in this local law.
I suggest we have an open hearing. We have an objection to 25 feet, correct? You don't want 25 feet? And you don't want to allow permanent docks?
No.
Okay, let the record suggest that
Mhm.
those are his
And
concerns.
the reason, in particular for the permanent docks, is because these are going to have to be stone or cement foundations. And this is a major modification to the shoreline of the
It
lake.
is not a major modification because many of the docks out there are stone and cement and rock.
That's true, but
Okay.
they are grandfathered. We're
But-
talking about
but-
new ones.
look, we're talking about the fact that permanent docks may have to have a more stable foundation. You've made your concern.
Especially with the new length.
No, but I disagree with what you're saying. The point is that people, these boats, these docks that have cement were grandfathered a long time ago. You're talking about new ones. There's a difference between old ones and new ones. You're making a change in the rules for the new docks, and you're allowing cement stone foundations for
Correct.
boathouses or whatever. That's what
Correct.
you're doing.
But not in this local law.
Oh, and this is part of this local.
I don't believe that was written into this local law.
Okay,
If you wanted to put that in, I think it's because it's controversial. We might want to
I
do
don't,
it
I don't
separately.
think it's all that, I mean.
I don't either, but
You know.
I don't believe
look,
it's in this one. Like, we
Okay.
should check.
We
um,
can check or we can amend
Robert,
it. Robert,
Can
we
you,
can
can
amend
you
it.
check this local law and see if there's anything that addresses permanent docks? Because in the correspondence that I've been going back and forth with Brian, which everyone's been copying on, that has not been in. So if it's in, that's one thing. If it might not.
Look, we
Yeah, so-
can decide what
Mayor,
to put in. We have a concern that's reflected in the public minutes. Are there any other comments people want to make
Right.
about the change in boat length?
You have
Change in dock size.
one hand raised, it's Jay's iPad.
All right, we have someone we have someone here that's about to speak, Jill Swerble.
I am with Jim. I'm against permanent docks. I think that will make too much of a change to our shoreline.
Got it.
I also agree with Jim, and I do think that a permanent dock that's going to be as large as you're talking about really would be an eyesore to the lake. It's not that big a lake.
And then.
Thank you. Is that in this bill, Robert?
You have Jay's iPad. I'm gonna bring him in.
Okay.
Okay,
Jay, you just have to unmute.
whatever gets put in has to go through the BAR.
Correct.
Okay? And if you're putting a dock in, okay, the expense of putting in a permanent. dock
Jay,
is
do you have a question, sir?
greater.
I do.
Right.
And this actually goes to something you raised, Your Honor. These rules all are predicated on the idea that people want to have larger boats and therefore need larger docks.
No,
Whether they should be larger boats or not.
the
is not-
allowable dock today is 10 feet. Boats are being put in there 20 feet. People want to have docks appropriate to the length of their boat.
Okay, good. Sorry, that's larger boats, larger docks. I understand that. I do marine stuff all the time. That makes sense. What the maximum boat size should be is not something I'm prepared to discuss. But what I would like to mention is something that the mayor brought up, which is section 65-2E, which is where the dock sizes for the Village and Tuxedo Club marinas are limited to their current size. If the people who are using those docks, who are Village residents or otherwise affiliated with the Village, also want to have larger boats, then it would only seem fair that a similar increase in the size of those docks be permitted.
Yes, the history there is a little bit different. There was a situation in 2005 where the club put in extra docks without permission. And we came to a settlement, and that settlement included that they could not expand. But I hear you. Do you have a consensus? Or are you speaking for yourself in terms of the Village Boat Club?
I'm not speaking for either of the clubs. I'm speaking as a private person.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an interesting point.
So the question is, anything that gets done has to go through the BAR. Right? If the club wants more boat spaces, which they didn't do in 2005, they would have to do it
Through the
again.
trustees.
And
They
it
would
would
have to-
go through the trustees.
But obviously, everything would have to go to the bar. Procedures would have to be
Yeah,
followed.
and right.
So-
No, I hear you. I think I would like to ask the Village Boat Club and the Tuxedo Club what their view is,
That's
actually. And,
Okay.
and then extend the public hearing. I think we should definitely consider
I
their,
think,
my idea was that they would not be. Because that would just, there's only, let's just say there's 15 boats on the lake. They have 50. So I didn't want to give them approval to make the longer boat and the longer dock. But we should at least hear them.
I think we should hear from all interested
Yeah.
stakeholders.
We should hear from them, and then we can make a decision on whether or not we would want to do that. But I think we should hear them. That would mean, yes, Jim.
Just one other point. Trustee Brooke keeps talking about it going before the bar.
Mhm.
But this is a very serious matter, and the trustees should set very strict rules about this. This is not something that should be left up to the bar.
Yes,
I
it
think
would be,
that's a-
well,
that's a
the
big
trustees
mistake.
approve all docks. But we're not concerned with the materials, the bar is. So the bar has rules, and then the trustees,
I don't think the bar has any rules about this.
they
at the
do.
moment.
And John, do you want to describe what they are?
I'll accept your condition that the trustees have to approve it. It's the responsibility of the trustees to do this. The bar can have advice,
Yeah.
right? But the answer is it's a trustee decision. I don't think there's any controversy about adjusting boat length, dock length to boat length. There is,
What do you mean there's no
discussion-
controversy. I've
No.
expressed controversy.
No. can I finish what I said?
You can.
I said there was,
Don't say something that isn't true.
let me try to say it so you understand it.
I'm listening.
Okay, what I said is, number one, there's no controversy with the issue about adjusting dock length to boat length. There is controversy over allowing boat length to go from 20 to 25 feet.
I disagree.
Well, if,
I disagree. I said very clearly, I don't, there is controversy about extending the dock length to the boat length.
Okay,
There is
I didn't
controversy
hear that
about
in the
that.
beginning, but fine, we'll reflect that controversy and it'll be a trustee decision.
This is a really serious issue.
yeah, I'm
This
gonna,
lake is very beautiful.
I'm extending the
And
public
you're-
hearing.
You're doing a lot of things at this point, which will make very major changes in how this lake looks. And there are people that live in the park that don't live on the lake. And we care about the lakes as well as those who happen to want bigger docks and bigger boats and all the rest of it. It's
Understood.
our lake as well.
Understood,
And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of us, and we all vote.
understood.
Okay.
So my idea at this point is to extend the public hearing.
Mayor, you have,
And-
before you do that, you have two other hands raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. And where are they?
All right, Claudio GDZ.
Okay, Claudia?
Yes, hello, Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It seems to me that we should be really paying careful attention to the important words that Jim Hayes has mentioned. It seems to me that Trustee Brooks is getting very aggressive with him. Trustee Brooks has a property on the lake, and obviously he wants a bigger dock and a bigger boat. Some of us do not have houses, properties on the lake. We don't have boat houses, and we do appreciate living in a more rustic environment. We do not want Tuxedo Lake to become Greenwood Lake. And, for one, I take great exception to, all the Rodney Dangerfields that I see on the lake right now. It's not what I bought into when I moved here in 1997. I think Jim Hayes should be taken very seriously. Thank you.
You're welcome. There was one other person.
You got two other people, Mark Cintron, I'm bringing him.
Mark?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would agree with the arguments of Professor Hayes, but I'd like to add that, certain things make this village iconic. One of them is the gatehouse, and my recollection is when there was consideration as to how to replace the booth at the gatehouse, opinions of the voters were sought by way of survey, because it was considered to be such an iconic spot that it was felt that everyone in the village, if they so chose, would have some input in how that booth was to be replaced and how it was to be operated. I think the same approach should be taken to the lake and boathouses and to the lengths of the boats on the lake. And it's my personal opinion that all the residents of this community who love this community should have a chance to weigh in on this by way of referenda or survey. And I would respectfully request that the board consider the same. Thank you.
We will consider it. Referenda wouldn't be a possible situation, but survey we will discuss. Yes, I do support surveys in the majority of cases. And so we'll take that into consideration. Was there anyone else?
Yes, Chi and Hempel.
Chu Yin, how are you?
I'm well, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Good. I agree totally with Jim and the other two prior speakers, Mark and Claudio. This whole issue about the docks is a very important matter because we are talking about permanent construction at our reservoir. To the point about the BAR being the approving authority before the trustees give the final approval. As far as I know, the BAR really has no standards at the moment about docks construction on our reservoir.
Can I just ask a question? John, don't they have material requirements?
The bar has material requirements that they have established. They're not published, but obviously any construction materials on the lake.
I understood it was all cedar.
Cedar or mahogany are typically the two materials of choice.
So the precedent cedar and mahogany.
It's not just the kind of wood, it's whether it is the wood is chemically treated. Or
well, we don't allow that.
How the concrete platform is being manufactured, whether it's on shore and lowered or whether it's construction within the lake, all the details. The devil is in the detail. All I'm saying is that we cannot just say the bar is in control of ensuring safety and all that. We need to make sure that the bar's guidelines actually go into these details. But the broader point is, this is a very important issue. It's building or construction around the lakes. So I agree with everybody. And I love your suggestion of a survey.
Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
I support beefing up the guidelines to include dock information. So anyone else?
No other comments, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So board.
Just Bob, would it be something you guys could do is to research other laws? Like, are there DEC rules, Corps of Engineer rules, other environmental rules that would apply to how you could construct a dock on a reservoir?
So as far as where there are no state regulations pertaining to docks. We'd be happy to look at comparable municipalities to see what it is that they do. But for now, I think the important thing is to sort of reconcile the general code and hash out what it is that you guys are sort of looking to do.
Yep.
Okay.
I support extending the hearing, continuing the hearing because of the kind of comments we heard tonight and the strong feelings about it. I'm not interested in passing something in the dead of night. I want public input from everybody on all sides. So I would propose that we continue the hearing till next month. How do you guys feel about doing that?
So
Works for me.
Josh?
yeah, I think we definitely need more input. I think input from the various clubs that were mentioned earlier. I think a survey is a good idea. It's, I think we need to get people's input. Chris, I think your idea of what other municipalities are doing, that have lakes is interesting, although it's worth noting, as I think other people have, that we are different, we are special, we are historic. I wouldn't want to be compared to, for example, Greenwood Lake.
That was my example. I was going to call that.
Right. And so, and that's not a diss to Greenwood Lake. It's just that's a different environment. So I think it might be interesting, but I'm not sure how informative it would be. I think what's more informative is hearing from the residents and making sure we have a survey that accurately captures people's perspective.
Right. Okay.
Can I just, I want to
Please.
clarify something. I didn't at all suggest that we look at what other municipalities are doing. I specifically asked if there were regulations from the DEC or Corps of Engineers that might even prevent us from even passing this law.
Right.
Got
So
it. I misunderstood.
that's what I was trying to clarify, because we could wrap this up if the DEC said there's no way in hell you guys are building on your reservoir.
Right.
Right. So and
Okay.
that's in response to Chu Yen's comments about, how do you do the construction? It's not the bar's job to make sure that the plans prevent spillage or anything else and pollute the lake as they're doing construction. That would be the building inspector, engineer to approve a site plan.
Right.
But that would have to go through the DEC or other, I would assume. I don't know. That's why I asked.
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah, there's a historical issue, which is kind of strange, which is we are the largest, I believe, the largest unfenced reservoir in New York State. That's because of a
And we always have to project that.
That's because of a historical precedent.
All right. So, I would like to move that the Board of Trustees continue this hearing until 7 o'clock, May
17th.
7 o'clock, May
17th.
17th.
I think.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
So you're not going with Friday,
Aye.
April 28th? Okay.
Aye.
Aye. No, because it's too soon. And also about the survey, I'm the one that conducted the booth survey. Would you like me to take a shot at questions and then pass them around?
Yes.
Because as you know, surveys can be very persuasive in one direction or another, and this should be very neutral.
This should be
So
neutral.
I'll look for you guys to make sure that you feel it's neutral.
Good.
It's like, would you prefer expanding the length of boats or burning your house down? That would be an example of a question that would gear someone towards a certain answer, which we're not going to do. All right, Jim, Jill, Chu Yen, Claudio, and Mark, thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate, and Audrey, thank you very much for your comments. Okay. So we are now on we're gonna at reports, number 10.
Already?
Yeah, it's a little late, I know. All right. Jeff, in addition to your regular, I just like you to comment on what you're doing at the Weewa Park and Beach Club. It's so fantastic, as well as just a reminder about the hydrant flushing. I did send out a letter with Denise on the hydrant flushing to everyone in the park, but it might be fine to reiterate that here.
The hydrant flushing is done. It was finished today.
Excellent. How did it go?
It went fine.
Anything of interest?
Not really, no, nothing out of normal.
And you'll be sharing that information with John, I imagine, talking about potentially replacing some of the old fire hydrants. Great. And did you mark them up?
No, John and I have been trying to figure out how we're going.
Right. I understand you're going to use.
Way to do it.
Right.
A tag or.
Right. And so what would some of those tags say?
There would just be a number on it.
And it would refer to what? Just for GIS purposes or for
auditing purposes
Auditing
and
purposes.
maintaining a record of pressures
Right.
and volume.
Okay, so simply for data collection.
Yes, and
Not
so
this fire hydrant's weak and this one's strong.
it's just for data collection and to have a bona fide list of what needs to be done and what pressures and volumes are there.
Okay, thank you. And Jeff, do you mind discussing what you're doing over at the Weewa?
Yeah, over at the beach, last month we took down a bunch of dead trees over there and we finished pulling the stumps out from that. And we created a path with wood chips down near the water behind like the playground area. And then it extends going towards the DPW, and then we built a set of stone steps to come back up over where the horseshoe pits are. So.
It's beautiful.
It came out really nice.
Really nice. Thank you. And just for anyone that's concerned about the tree removal, we did contact Christopher Gow from the tree committee in advance and get approval for all the trees that were taken down. In fact, that they were dead. Now, he also, the tree committee is also proposing to plant a bunch of flowering trees at the Weewah, which we think is great. And we're coordinating the locations. And then the DPW will pick up the plants at the nursery and dig the preliminary hole. And I believe it's going to be in conjunction with this school, with the Tuxedo Park School. And do we have a tentative date for that?
28th Arbor Day.
Arbor Day, the 28th.
So we'll pick the plants up the day before and you know, dig the holes.
Mhm.
They may have to adjust the holes a little bit. When you plant.
Now, the last time I talked to Christopher, he said I should just go out and we should just go out and pick the spots, but
Well, we've marked a few, so we want
Okay.
your approval.
Okay.
We can meet with you on that Friday morning or.
can you meet tomorrow?
Or,
I mean, Friday morning, this Friday,
we are.
maybe
Perhaps, yeah.
somebody from the committee.
We are entertaining TPS for Earth Day at the racetrack on Friday, so.
Okay. Oh, neat.
Morning is a little busy.
Okay, well, as soon as we can, we'll coordinate. Could be over the weekend.
Those red flags are the areas where you want the trees planted. So there are
Yes.
flags there if you want to see. them.
What do you think of the spots?
I mean, I really didn't look at them that closely, but I did see the flag, so. You know.
Are they tall trees, small, wide trees? How do they end up growing?
They, with our budget, they won't be that tall.
How do they know?
Well, we asked for matching grant. We were hopeful that maybe you, each committee would, match us, our donation. but-
We haven't started raising money yet, but I wish. Okay, well, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. And you want to read your regular report?
So also over at the beach club,
Mhm.
we're removing the stone from the parking lot.
Correct.
And we're gonna topsoil and seed it and build
Beautiful.
a roadway around the bathhouse.
And there's more parking. Yeah, it's going to be great. They're all great improvements. Denise and Matthew and Tinka and others have done a terrific job there. And I thank him and I thank you and make sure you tell the DPW guys.
I did.
Oh, good, good. They deserve some kudos on that. Do you want to review your remaining?
Yeah, so, we basically went around every road and chipped up brush that was, that fell during the winter time. Cleaned up a bunch of areas from plowing snow, some broken berms and soil that was pushed up that had to be fixed. We did a lot of work here in the village office, some drainage work. You could see that you're coming in, and then we took down 4 or 5 dead trees, real big dead trees here on the corner. And also filled some of the potholes in the parking lot. We started painting the hydrants again. We had to stop in the fall when the weather gets cold at night. The condensation is on the hydrant.
They look beautiful.
So we're doing that. The Weewalt Park, we talked about. We've had Dominic cleaning and trying to straighten out some of the road signs. A lot of the street signs are like they get moldy after a while, so he's cleaning all that up. Worked on trucks and plow equipment. That was last month. Continuing water and sewer, continuing with water meter installations, flush fire hydrants, obviously. Utility markouts for dig safe. We repaired a water leak on East Lake Stable Road. We excavated and repaired a shut-off valve on Mountain Road for the ball field up there. Meter readings requested by Denise throughout the month. We installed a new pump in our recirculating pit at the sewer plant. Did a bunch of locating and inspecting of manholes from Westlake Stable going up Onkyo.
How many did you have to dig out of the asphalt?
Not many.
Good.
No, maybe 2 or 3. Most of those are in the woods, so that was rough going up those hills, but
thank you.
We and started installing seasonal meters. The bathhouse at the Weewa Park is now open.
Oh, good.
We had to remove and clean a sludge pump at the sewer plant and finished first quarter water meter readings 2 weeks ago.
And I understand VRI recommended some items which we may have put in the budget for the sewer plant or the water plant. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes.
Both. And Jeff, did you get a chance to review them?
I didn't see all, no, I know some of what they were talking about.
Mhm.
I didn't see the whole list that they had.
Okay, and did you accept the entire list?
I went over it with Tinka and I think she added them to the budget.
I did,
Correct.
yes.
All right, so if you have a chance, check it out. And if you feel that something is not necessary, you'll let us know. Thank you. Okay, was the chief able to get on?
I've let everybody in who.
I don't think he was able to get, didn't he call earlier or something? Say he was having a hard time.
He did, but at that time I was letting 3 or 4 or 5 people on, so I let everybody in.
Chief, are you there? Okay. 14,782 cars. No. All right. So one thing I wanted him to address was this is the time of year people are re-upping from the club and the school to register their cars to automatically go through the gate. So I thought I would take the opportunity to remind everybody, for example, if you've been working with a contractor who was given approval or a domestic that was given approval who no longer works for you, this is also a reminder to get them off the list. And that's done by a call to Denise. Okay. Elizabeth, I know you had some announcements you wanted to make.
Oh, just 2 quick announcements that on April 28th, which is not this coming Friday, but the Friday after, we're having our shredding event to sort of coincide with Earth Day, 12:30 PM to 1:30 PM. That's a little bit of a change from in the past. We used to have it for 3 hours, but this was the best price. If you can't be here between that time, you can always drop anything off.
All right, that'll give us a
before
chance to
then.
look through it before it
Right.
gets shredded.
And I'll hold on to it. No, I never look through anything. But and I, would put it out for you.
Terrific.
And the other thing is on Saturday, May 13th is the bulk pickup.
Excellent.
People have been asking about that.
Okay. I'll take the opportunity to just put on the record, people have been asking about renewing their passes for the Weewa Beach Club. And we haven't formally opened that process up yet, but it will be opened up shortly and announcements will be made. I know you've been getting some calls, correct? Okay. All right. So let's move on to a presentation by Jill Swerble. Jill?
Hopefully you've read what was sent to all of you, but I did bring a copy.
Thank you very much.
Pass those around. So I'm here on behalf of the tree board. And we are.
Oh, just to make sure we can hear you.
Yes.
Do you want to use the mic or you're less comfortable? How about coming up a little bit, then a couple rows? You won't be judged. And you don't even have to stand if you don't want to.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Have a good night.
You too.
I'm here on behalf of the tree board, the TP tree board, to ask for approval for a number of 3 issues that we wanted to address, safety issues that are of concern. And as I said, hopefully you all had a chance to read through this. But the 3 work components would be the Tuxedo Road entrance has an elephant drain on the right that has some logs covering it, which are eroded. And we feel that that is a safety issue that needs to be addressed.
Is it fenced off now?
It has a little rope and 3 green posts or 4 green posts around it.
Time to make a move.
Yeah, exactly. The second is a number of people have contacted us regarding the safety of the entrance by Fox Hill Trail. And the steps are unsteady and they'd like to have a railing put in. So we have proposed putting in an all natural cedar railing. Similar one And there's a photo of a similar one that we would do, but with cement footings.
Is that, do you need more parking over there?
No, I don't think.
I'm just
that's been an
wondering
issue.
in general, Julian, you're here still. I'm just wondering in general, if you've considered, you know, that intersection where we enter now,
We've
is
never
kind of
had any
dangerous.
parking problem, Mayor.
No.
Because
I-
we've had,
Can I just mention my idea?
okay, sure.
Thanks. Have you ever considered sort of relocating the main entrance over to the Fox Hill side, where we would put parking and so on and so forth, so that, you know, we would be able to sort of close off that area? We've had a couple accidents there and cars parked there. It's not necessarily the most sightly intersection.
Right.
You've got all those signs and this and that. I'm just wondering if you ever considered that.
No.
And if so, we'd be happy to help you out.
Okay, well, maybe it's something we'll discuss. I think a lot of people do park there when the school comes. They
Mhm.
always park there,
Mhm.
park there.
Yeah,
But,
something to consider.
you know, all right. We will put that on our agenda. The third issue is, or the third work component is the Tuxedo Road entrance.
Mhm.
We'd like to put in a better looking gate than the metal rail that's
Yeah.
there.
That would help.
Is there a gate now? Yeah,
There's a
it's
metal bar.
And where can I find that picture?
That's in the
Page
back.
7.
That's the gate right there.
Bottom of page 7. I see the existing. Do we have anything of the proposed?
Yeah, back of page 8.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. And have you gone before the bar?
No, we hope to do that after gaining your approval.
Okay, so I'd probably do it the other way around. It's village property, so we're required to go to the bar.
Right.
However, there's nothing binding. They can make strong suggestions and you can follow it, or not necessarily. I think that the Board of Trustees would welcome their input,
Mhm.
and we probably wouldn't overrule them.
So two things.
Yeah.
I welcome their input, but the suggestions you make all seem entirely reasonable and stuff we should get on with.
Mhm.
Those trees, I've always seen them, they're really old, aren't they?
What trees?
The trees that block the drain,
Oh, the logs, yeah.
Really,
Look.
they're really old. I mean, it's just.
it's a safety hazard.
Live?
Sure.
They're live trees?
No. They're logs.
Oh, logs.
That are
Just
over the
logs.
drain, and the drain usually is 32 feet.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm totally in favor of what you're doing.
All right, go to the bar.
We'll do that.
Chris?
Yeah, question on the, replacing the logs on that drain. So they're concrete slabs, basically. Is there then something else we're gonna
And then
do?
some greenage around it, some foliage.
Something to
and-
block it so you don't see concrete
Exactly.
slabs? Okay.
Exactly. Um,
Maybe we could use this space for something. Relocating the village office?
I thought you were gonna put a casino there.
Well, that's a different plan. I haven't broke that yet.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. I mean,
Yeah.
Those old logs, which I've walked by many, many times, they just, that's a historical anomaly. I don't think they've been touched for 50 years.
Jill, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice presentation. We appreciate it. Very well organized.
Thank you, Joe.
Jim, did you want to talk about CSC?
Yes, just very briefly.
Sure.
We're beginning to work on a climate action plan for village government. This is not to get ahead of the board. This is in fact in service of the board since we've done an inventory and we have really pretty good data for the greenhouse gases emitted by the village government, its operations. So, and we're in the process of doing a second one from the year 2022, so we can see kind of, even though not a lot of changes have taken place, there will be year-to-year variability because climate, activity, whatever produces different. So we want to get some sense on what that variability is when we're actually measuring reductions. So the idea will be to do to list all the buildings, which we have information now, their square footage, their heating systems, the pumps, generators, and all the things that are producing greenhouse gases, including all the vehicles. And the state has set goals for a 50% reduction by the end of this decade and 85% by 2050. These are very ambitious goals. So the question is this possible to do, and at what cost? So what we're going to do is look at this and see what possible, where we would get if we just replaced old things with more efficient things, which you have to do anyway. And if you can't get there, then what would you have to do to get to that, and what would it cost? And where would the money come from? So one of the things we're looking into is the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, which has a lot of money for this kind of thing. And we are looking at how you get that money. That money isn't really flowing yet, but it will flow because it's been approved.
Federal or state?
Federal.
Federal.
Yeah, no, that's where the big money is.
Uh-huh.
The Inflation Reduction Act has a lot of money, but it's, there are a lot of rules about it. And we have a new member to our committee. You perhaps know him, Jack Perna, building a house.
Right.
And he is, what he does as a day job is he writes grants and helps school districts raise money and so forth. So he's used to this kind of grant writing and thinking about it. So I've asked him if he would look into this as his sole task.
Terrific.
And
I know that he was promoting solar and so forth.
No, his head is in the right place.
The book.
So that's the
presentation.
place to start. And so he's inspired. So hopefully we will have that information for you. Now, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm writing an annual report on our activity. So I don't want to go into all of that now. So that will be in writing and you'll get it. So what we've done in the last year. But I'm just wanted to alert you to this plan that will be a plan for the rest of the decade.
Terrific.
Or it's not a plan. It's a plan for your adoption.
Well, I want to thank
you. May adopt it.
Let me ask one question. Is there a benchmark of what we currently use? Because so much of this is percent reduction. So you have to establish a baseline from which you get those reductions.
Well, that was our inventory.
Yeah.
Right.
We've done an inventory.
We
We
have
have numbers.
We have the inventory.
We
and
have numbers of all the greenhouse gases produced by this building, all the cars.
Yeah.
all
How about the
trucks,
gas that's
all
produced
that
from this
stuff.
board?
No, that we don't, but that's a variable. We assume it's constant.
All right, thank you, Jim. I want to thank you and your liaison, trustee Shear. And if you could pass that on to your committee members.
I want to thank John. I want to thank Police Chief Jeff for a lot of help with this.
Yes.
And because they're the ones that have the.
They
data.
have put a lot of
They
time
can't do
into it.
anything without the data.
Yep.
And they've done a great job.
Now, not to throw a wrench in the wheel, but we are going to be considering a purchase of a police car tonight. And yet I saw you mention recently, it could be potentially all electric,
No.
a police car.
The-
Our next purchase might be electric.
Well, not the one you're voting on tonight.
Okay, well, I was going to ask if you wanted us to reconsider making this one an electric one.
I've talked a lot about it with the chief.
Okay,
And the problem is that all electric cars aren't particularly suited at this point to be patrol cars.
very
Now,
good.
if you want to have a vehicle that the police chief just drives around in.
We don't pay
that's
for his
another
car.
story. But
Right.
If you want a patrol car,
Mhm.
it's not ready.
Okay,
You can get a
I appreciate
hybrid,
that input.
And he's already.
He's gonna do a hybrid, yeah.
And another hybrid. So there's savings there. It's not as much as we'd hope for, but it's the right way to go.
Okay.
That's what he's recommending and certainly.
All right.
It also makes sense given temperature.
Sorry.
Electric cars drain really fast in cold weather. We have winters. This winter wasn't bad, but it's very hard to have an electric car that'll be
Mhm.
adequately powered for a severe winter.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you for that input, Jim. Does anyone of the trustees have any comments about the minutes? Trustees, comments
Nope.
about the minutes?
Nope.
Where's Josh? Oh, he's not accessible right now. Okay. Let's open up the floor for public comments, and we'll start with the people in the room. Okay, let's move to the people on Zoom. Okay, public hearing is closed. I mean,
Hey,
public
hey,
comment is
hey.
closed. Oh, we have two. Where?
You have two,
Audio
bringing in Claudia.
Chuyen.
Oh, let's start with Chuyen.
Yes, Mayor, I may be mistaken because I haven't looked at the latest version of the agenda, but I think you may need to put on the consent agenda the Arbor Day proclamation for 2023. I don't see that in an earlier version of the agenda.
We put it in new business, I think.
Okay, all right, then it's good.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
new business I
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
on the agenda. You're
Wonderful.
welcome.
Thank you.
Claudio, you're welcome.
Yes, hello, Mayor. Thank you. My concern is the level of water in the lake. I was out on my kayak the other day, just going around the perimeter of the lake. And I noticed that the water of the lake is maybe 8 or 10 or 12 inches low. Do we need to try maybe putting another board in the dam there, so at least we can conserve some of the water that comes in? Because by the time August and September come around, we're not going to have much water left.
That's not on the agenda. However, unfortunately, Jeff just left, but I will follow up with him tomorrow and ask him what he thinks. Is that acceptable to you?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Great. You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Adding written reports to the permanent record, approving the minutes. There's a section about village election. Approvals for employees taking courses. Retroactively approving the Weewa Fishing Club lease renewal. Resolving retroactively approve of the USDA intermunicipality agreement for 3690. That's the egg coddling. And installing a Wi-Fi system at the Weewa Park, which is estimated at $29,500. Any questions?
29,500.
22,000.
2,950.
Yeah, and 50. Yeah. What did I say? 29,000?
Yeah, you said 29,500. Just a zero.
I'm an architect. I don't know. All right. So, any questions? Josh or Tinka?
Nope.
Be it resolved that the Board of, okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve consent agenda items A through J.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, the ayes have it. Old business. We have a resolution to pass regarding annexation, which is a continuation of our joint public hearing with the town. And they're passing their own resolution, similar to this. I will read it. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution finding an order approving annexation of 2 parcels from the town of Tuxedo to Village of Tuxedo Park. Section 1, the above whereas clauses are incorporated herein as if set forth in full. 2, that the aforesaid petition for annexation substantially complies in form and consent with general municipal law, Article 17. 3, that the proposed annexation of said annexation parcels in the town to the village as described in the aforesaid petition is in the overall public interest and that such annexation was contemplated during review and consideration of the Tuxedo Farms development in the town of Tuxedo, and that of the town, village, and developer had entered agreements that considered and include the proposed annexation now before the village board, and that the village determines such annexations are in the best interest of the village and having such parcels inside the village to enhance a buffer between the proposed town project development and the village. Including this resolution, sections 4 through 14. Bob, do I have to read them all?
17.
Through 17.
Yes, Mayor, we would recommend that you do it. If you want, I can do it.
Okay, thank you, because I'm getting a little hoarse.
Sure.
Or number 4. Thank you.
Section 4, you said?
Yeah, section 4, page 2.
That all unpaid or delinquent taxes levied or charges made against the annexation partial shall be due and payable and collected in all respects, the same as if such territory had not been annexed. Section 5, that any other taxes levied or other charges made against or on account of the annexation for the fiscal year in which the annexation shall take effect shall be paid to the town of Tuxedo. Section 6, that any taxes levied or other charges made against or on account of the annexation for a fiscal year commencing after the date such annexation takes effect shall be due and payable to and collected by the village of Tuxedo Park. Section 7, that the annexation parcels, after annexation shall remain in the same districts with respect to Tuxedo Joint Fire District and Tuxedo Library, and accordingly shall continue to pay for such services on the same terms as prior to the annexation. Section 8, that there is no other indebtedness, liabilities, or interests in connection with the annexation parcels, and accordingly no amount is otherwise due to the town or village in connection with the annexation. Section 9, the consent and approval of the village board is hereby given to the annexation of the territory now situated in the town and described in the aforesaid petition, Exhibit A to the village. Section 10, that the village clerk shall file this order together with copies of the annexation petition, the notice, the written objections, if any, and testimony and minutes of proceedings taken and kept on at the public hearing. Section 11, that no election shall be required with respect to the instant annexation, as there are no residents residing in the annexation parcels, and based upon existing case law, an election is not required under such circumstances. Section 12, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute this finding, resolution, and order. Section 13, the mayor is hereby directed to cause A, a survey to be made of the annexed territory, B, the boundaries of the same to be marked with monuments, and C, a map to be made of such local government, including the annexed territory, or in the event such survey already exists and such boundaries are already marked, such requirement may be dispensed with upon review by the village engineer. Section 14, in cooperation with the town of Tuxedo, the mayor shall also cause a partial map to be made of the village and town of Tuxedo, which map shall be sufficient to show the exclusion of the annexed territory from the town of Tuxedo, and to file copies of such map in the office of the village clerk, the town clerk, the office of the Orange County clerk, and in the office of the New York Secretary of State. The mayor is authorized to arrange for the preparation of such maps through Orange County offices, including the Geographic Information Systems Office and/or Real Property Tax Office. Section 15, with respect to any issues that arise with finalizing the annexation of the annexation partials, the village shall work cooperatively with the town of Tuxedo. Section 16, the mayor and any officer, employee, or consultant as directed by the mayor is hereby authorized to take any and all actions necessary to carry out the provisions of this finding, resolution, and order. Section 17, this resolution, finding, and order shall be effective immediately. And
Okay.
Motion.
All right, so I'm going to accept into this resolution as read, section 14 through 17. And I will ask
Section 4
for a
through
second.
17.
4 through 17, yeah. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is for establishing a second minimum sewer rate. Did the trustees have any questions?
Actually, I don't, I was looking for that. I didn't see it before. Can you summarize what the rate is?
Yeah, do you want to explain, John, how we came to that rate conclusion from the DEC and so forth?
Yes, we were trying to look for an established rate of consumption to charge people sewer on. And the New York State DEC and the Health Department use this table below on I think the document you're looking at.
Yeah.
And they use these design flows when they are establishing sizes of septic fields and things of that sort. And we decided maybe we would use their table since it's well documented as a baseline for charging those people that do not allow us to install a meter on their property to calculate sewer charges. We have a few people that have been resistant for us installing a meter, and we have no way to accurately bill them at all. They've been billed the minimum since last fall, but we really don't know what the reality is.
Yep. No, I understand the situation. I just wasn't aware of how we figured out the price. So now
Right.
I'm aware.
This was with a consultation with the engineer, correct?
Yes, the engineer.
Yeah, I just, okay.
Yes, sir.
As I understand it, people have water meters, and there are going to be a second meter in there. In that case, water is used for non-sewer use,
Correct.
right? And you subtract one from the other to get the amount.
Correct.
Yes.
There are people who have no water meters,
Correct.
right?
People that are on well
Correct.
obviously have no meter because we don't bill them for water,
Built them for water,
but they've been resistant on
They
us.
use the sewer.
but they use the sewer.
Correct.
Correct.
So so the goal is here to establish a minimum sewer rate as a resident
Mhm.
Mhm.
if you have no meter,
Correct.
right? This goes both for the village and the town.
No.
We only bill sewer for
In
those
the
people
village.
connected to the
Oh, yeah,
village
yeah,
sewer.
people that use our sewer system in the town. I apologize. Yeah.
Right, right. So what we're doing is establishing a minimum rate
Correct.
so that everybody contributes to the good of the community in that sense.
Correct.
Well, everybody who uses sewer pays for the sewer.
Correct.
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 Right,
Yeah.
but everybody's got to be hooked up to sewer, right?
No,
No?
Nope.
they have a septic, so they don't pay
You
anything
have
for
a
sewer.
septic.
Yep.
It's
They're
septic
they're home free,
and it's grandfathered.
Well, their sewer doesn't come to our plant.
and our sewer system doesn't even go near their house.
Yeah, it doesn't come to the south part of.
Other than they'd be obligated, otherwise they'd be obligated
Yeah,
to attach to it.
okay. Great. I'm trying to figure out the rules of this have been more than a little complicated.
Right.
Yes.
No, you're absolutely right,
There's a
Paul.
lot going on there.
Yep. All right. So Tinka or Josh, do you have any questions about this resolution?
Nope, I agree with it.
Okay. Resolution establishing sewer rates for unmetered residential homes. Now therefore, be it resolved as follows. The above whereas clauses are incorporated herein as if set forth in full. The village board hereby adopts and approves the daily design flow chart contained in this resolution as the basis for establishing sewer rates for billing of residential homes in the village where such homes have not permitted the installation of a water meter. Section 3, the mayor or any other officer, employee, or consultant, as directed by the mayor, is hereby authorized to take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
One question. We should call out in there that if the person does not use the sewer system, they're not to be billed. It doesn't say that. It just says anybody who's not on. the
Okay, let
system.
me put in
So,
section
so
4.
having learned this,
Yeah, all right.
right?
Mhm. All right, I'm gonna do that now.
If somebody
Mhm.
is not
Okay.
a user of the sewer.
Uh, Would you support or critique my language, please, Robert? I'm gonna change section 4. This resolution shall be effective immediately to section 5. And I'm gonna insert in its place section 4. This resolution does not apply to residents with a septic tank. Is that acceptable?
Residents who do not use the sewer system.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Residents that do not use the sewer system.
Run out on the lawn if you want, I mean.
Is that acceptable, Bob?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
No sewer system is even available.
correct.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Paul. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. New business, retaining Cooper Arias for auditing services for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2023, for a fee not to exceed 24,000. Tinka, any comments?
No, no. It's all good. We like them.
How much of an increase is it?
Not
I can jump in on that one. It's actually, the fee is 21,000, but they just have a little clause that, you know, if it says if the district expends more than $750,000 in federal awards, a federal single audit will be required, and that would cost 3,000.
That will bring it up to the 25.
Yeah.
So not to exceed,
So that's why I said the 24.
right, not to exceed 24. Okay,
We're
great.
expecting it to be 21, and I think that's less than what we paid this
Okay,
year.
thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees, the Cooper Arias proposal for fiscal year ending
Oh, that's
24.
wrong. It should be 24.
2024. That's where I paused. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Josh?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, on the village insurance, has there been an increase, Tinka?
insurance, yes. But
And-
I think what did it go from 82 to like 1, how much did you say, Elizabeth?
It was around 101.
I spoke to the broker who said that the reason for the requested increase is they have reevaluated the cost of construction if there's a fire, for example. And based on the increase in building materials, they're trying to cover that. I'm fine with that. Do the trustees have any questions or concern about that? Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the current proposal for village insurance. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, does anyone have a copy of the climate action plan? We all have seen it in the past. Any questions?
No.
No.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the climate action plan. May I have a second?
Second.
Excuse
All in
me,
favor?
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
I don't understand it, actually, because I thought you said you were not going to go along with this smart community certification.
Yes, we eliminated that at the last meeting through a resolution.
Okay, so here it's what it's part of the resolution that
I think this is a different piece. Josh, do you want to comment? To Audrey?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Okay, she's wondering if the resolution to approve the climate action plan is related to what we rejected at the last meeting. And the answer is no, because the last meeting was to join something and we had miscalculated the numbers.
And what is the climate action plan? Is that up on the website?
Yeah, we all received it.
It's not on the website. Isn't that what Jim was explaining to us today?
Yeah,
The whole inventory and how to reduce.
yeah, he
greenhouse
presented it to
emissions?
us in a written plan
Yeah, it's been a
that
while.
was distributed.
That's what he was summarizing today. It's about
Yeah,
getting
correct.
a base for our carbon usage as a community so that we can track it over time. And our ability to reduce emissions over time opens up certain
Grant
grant
opportunities.
opportunities for the village.
Right. So it was, as Jim described it, it's a separate matter.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
This doesn't have anything to do with the one you were talking about before.
Correct.
Opt out. and et
No.
cetera.
Correct.
No, that's related to, that is a separate initiative, which is related to, aggregating, purchase of, electricity.
CCA.
CCA,
Which we
community
nixed.
choice aggregation, which is a separate, issue.
I know it's confusing. Okay, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the climate action plan. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the board authorize the purchase of a vehicle for police department. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the
Question on that police thing. I'm not sure. I don't recall that being part of the police budget. So that's a new item. Do you remember, Elizabeth?
So this, I should have explained that. This is actually going to be part of our next fiscal budget. So the first payment will be due in June
Right.
15th.
So have we put it in the budget?
I believe that.
It was in the police department budget.
Let me go take a look. I just want to make sure that it's in there.
Sure.
Because they had already, I already gave them the prices and
Right.
they factored that
The
in.
question is whether the police
They did.
put it in their
They
departmental
did.
budget.
Yep.
Which means it would be in this budget.
Yes.
Yeah. So you say yes?
Yes.
Tinka?
I'm just taking a look here.
Okay. Elizabeth said it's in the police budget.
Yeah, they had already gotten the numbers from me and they included it in the budget.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Okay, great. Good. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the purchase of a vehicle for the police department. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
All right, now General Code is the company that maintains our Village Code online. And we've passed 21 local laws since it was last updated and incorporated into the code. It's very cumbersome. It's hard to understand and read. And we need to authorize the General Code to coordinate the entire package for a fee of $7,960. Any questions?
Yeah, I don't remember putting that in. Did you put that in somewhere, Elizabeth, in the budget? I remember we talked about it, but I didn't.
You know,
put it in.
I think we can take it out of this year's budget.
How long will it take them to do it? I don't remember. I know the payment's due upon completion. I remember reading that.
2 months, maybe.
Oh, is it 2 months?
I think so.
I recommend that we,
Can we prepay them?
we take it out of the current budget.
Yeah, if we have it.
We do. Is that okay with everyone?
It works for me.
Yep.
Okay. Using the current budget, resolve that the Board of Trustees authorize General Code to proceed with the supplementation and code reprint for a fee of $7,960. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees sign the NICOM letter in support of a dedicated funding stream for water and sewer systems. SWAP it is called, the program. Any questions? Second,
that?
any questions?
Yeah, explain how that works.
Okay,
Is
did
it-
you read it?
No, I did not read that one, but
You want to abstain?
Sure.
Do you want to take a minute to read it? Or do you
Think,
have a?
it's just a letter that the mayor would sign along with 311 other mayors that NICOM authored to
lobby, that they lobby to create a fund for villages like us who could use some grants for repairing sewer and water.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
As opposed to having to go through this grant writing process all the time,
Mhm.
which villages are not experts at and costs money and you don't always win. And they just want a steady stream of money from the state.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the mayor to sign the NICOM letter in support of a dedicated funding system stream for water and sewer systems, SWAP. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay. Is everyone familiar with phase 2 of the investigations proposal from Weston and Sampson? And prepared to vote?
Yeah, I know that was part of their whole
Yeah.
write-up.
Josh and Tinka, you ready to vote?
Yep.
Yep.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the Weston and Sampson SSES Phase 2 Investigations Proposal. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, a discussion regarding grants for critical water infrastructure project. I believe you had put that on the agenda. Elizabeth, what did you have in mind?
Oh, we got an email about it,
Mhm.
that Governor Hochul announced $425 million in grants for critical water infrastructure projects statewide.
Mm-hmm.
And Tinka asked me to put this on the agenda. So
Great. So is there an action that we need to take, Tinka?
I think,
We
you know,
just, I guess, have to
Joe
approve
Zongle,
because Weston and
right, we just
Sampson,
have
What action are we approving?
that Joe Zongle creates the.
Oh, that he can apply for the grant?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
they've already done the work. This is what, the third time we're gonna try
Okay.
He's
to.
gonna reapply, basically.
Oh, that,
get
right.
Grants and stuff, so he's just gonna.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve Weston and Sampson to apply for the third time for state grants for critical water infrastructure projects. Before I get a second, do we know what the cost is?
I forget what it was. It's not much because they've already done the work. So
Okay.
that was the second time.
May I have a
but-
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Resolved to resolved that the Board of Trustees re-proclaim that April 28th, 2023 is Village of Tuxedo Park Arbor Day.
Interested, the reason I put this in the new business as opposed to consent agenda is I felt like an explanation was called for.
Please proceed.
Back in October, in an attempt to be efficient, we passed this resolution proclaiming April 28th, 2023 as the village's Park Arbor Day. But then apparently we found out that we have to proclaim it in the same year that it happens. So we're re-proclaiming it.
Okay.
Retroactively.
Retro.
Okay, so this serves as a retroactive. Okay, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees retroactively proclaim that April 28th, 2023 was the Village of Tuxedo Park.
It's not really retroactive because it's next week.
Is.
Well, I thought we didn't do it before.
No, we did it in October.
Okay.
They said you're supposed to do it in 2023 for that year.
we're just
So it's
We're doing it again.
Okay.
We're just
Redoing
fine.
it.
Okay.
Doing it.
All right. Resolved to re-proclaim April 28th, 2023 as Village of Tuxedo Park Arbor Day. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any audit of claims?
Yes, for the general fund, we have $87,695.30. And water fund was $25,743.45. And the sewer fund was $9,132.60. And I'm gonna,
I'll sign those for you.
yes, please, I didn't, I forgot to
Okay.
have the certification on it.
All right. Any budget transfers?
No, I'm gonna pass on the budget.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on them because there's some things I feel need to be adjusted and I'd rather just you do it next month. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good.
That concludes the public session of the meeting. As the board is going to vote to go into executive session. If you would like to stay through the executive session, when we reopen the public meeting to adjourn, you may do that. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees enter executive session to discuss certain village employees, legal matters, and utility matters. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so side room.
Robert, do you want to do that since you'll probably
Yep,
be on to
yep.
the end?
Yeah, and Mayor, that litigation pertains to 116 Tower Hill.
And pertains to 116 Tower Hill. I didn't know I had to identify the actual legal matter. But yes, that's what it is.
Typically, the best practice is to do that.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We exited the executive session at 9:14. And we have one resolution that we'll be discussing. And for that resolution, I'm going to turn the floor over to our village attorney, Bob Zitt. Bob?
Sure. So the resolution would be it resolved that the village attorney is hereby authorized to explore a discontinuance of Supreme Court action index number EF 006339 of 2022. That's the Village of Tuxedo Park, New York against Genesis Real Estate Partner 1 LLC.
As just described by Bob Zitt, village attorney. I accept that description and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees adjourn the meeting. It's 9:16. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Right.